Hey, it's Reese G coming in from her cluttered kitchen for another Tip Tuesday. This one is newbie information for the Instant Pot. And when I was a newbie in December of 2016, the first thing I did before I even got my pot was I went on YouTube and watched a ton of videos, some with tips, some just showing recipes, just to see what I had to do and just to kind of give my brain a lesson so that when I got it, I'd know what to do. I learned how to do that from my son, who does that all the time. Watches all kinds of YouTube videos before he gets things, and then the second he gets it, he knows exactly what to do. And so I took that lesson from him. And it worked well. I watched Indigo Neely, I watched Sandy Clifton, I watched Jeff at Pressure Luck, and I learned how to do stuff. So I thought that I would do a similar thing and answer also some questions kind of that I see as a moderator on Instant Pot Cooks on Facebook. So I thought that's what I would start with, and just some quick tips on how to start cooking with it, and also a few little lessons and things that I learned along the way that I thought I'd pass on. Okay. First thing is, of course, when you open it up and you go to start cooking, the first thing you have to do is check the sealing ring and make sure it's in all the way down. You have to make sure this little plastic thing is on the other side of the other side of this pin, and you have to make sure that the sealing ring, the vent, is on close, not on open. All right, so that's the first thing. Okay. Make sure that this thing over here, this it's supposed to, I guess, collect dirt or whatever. Make sure that dirt and starch and things don't get down there. I go over it with a little brush after I clean up, make sure nothing's in it. And supposedly you can pull this off. I've never been able to pull mine off ever, no matter how I tried. But anyway, so that's my first tip, is make sure that this is all in the right spot. That's number one. Number two. Okay, number two. This little cup comes with the machine. They say it's for rice, but this is not 8 ounces American 8 ounces. All right, it is 6 ounces. I guess it's Canadian measurements. It says 3/4, it says half a cup, it says a cup. It's not American measurements. But what it does is it goes with the measurements in the pot, okay? You're supposed to go 1 of these to 1, 2 of these to the 2 mark with the water. It's going to cook 2. It's for using with the numbers in the pot and also the rice setting. I never use the rice setting. It actually takes too long, the rice setting. It cooks it on low instead of high. I cook it on manual, on high, for depending on the rice, from 4 minutes to 8 minutes, depending on the rice. So I just wouldn't use this at all. Use a regular, standard 8-ounce cup, and then look in the charts that are in all the books, or you can even search online and Instagram, and they will tell you, you know, how much water to how much rice. And I would go by that. Like with me, arborio rice, when I do risotto, I do 1 cup of rice to, well, risotto is different because you want it to be kind of soupy. I do like, I think 3 cups of liquid to 1 cup of rice. But for like regular basmati rice, 1 cup to 1 cup of water, or 1 cup to 1.25 cups, something like that. But I would check the charts before cooking rice. Third of all, I've gone on about these clips and Trudeau clips before, but this is one of my own little tippies, is when you're sauteing, lock this in. Make sure to lock this in place in some way. either one of these clips, very cheaply bought at Walmart or Staples, in little bags of 6 or 8 or 10 or whatever they are. Well worth it, okay? Lock it in place. That way when you saute, all right, when you saute, see, it doesn't move. All right, that's very important, okay? Also, number 4, always press saute, whether you're pressure cooking or sauteing, okay? Because it will preheat the pot. It'll get nice and hot around the edges. So if you do pressure cook, the pressure will come up faster, okay? I learned that one from Indigo Neely. Also, people complain that rice and food gets stuck in the surface of the pot because they're not waiting for it to say hot, okay? You cannot heat up, you can't saute and expect things to not get stuck. If it says hot, it means hot. It means the surface of that is hot and able to take your food, okay? So you put in your liquid, you put in your oil, you let that get hot, okay? You heat that up for a minute, and then you add your vegetables or whatever. Saute, okay? This is the next tip. A lot of people complain that they get the word burn over here. This is how to prevent the word burn. And that's how to prevent when it says burn over here. This is the way to do it. All right? Most people, for some reason, think that the pressure cooker and a slow cooker recipe are exactly the same, and they can do things exactly the same, which means they can add chicken and then add their cream of mushroom soup and a can of mushrooms or whatever, and then just turn it on and it'll magically cook it. Like, only it'll cook it for 4 minutes instead of 4 hours or whatever. No. All right? Cream of mushroom soup is a very thick substance, as is tomato paste, as is a roux, anything like that. You put those things in here without clear liquid, it will say burn. So that's the first thing you do, is if you're using it as a pressure cooker to do a recipe that you've done in the slow cooker, if you're going to use cream of mushroom soup or any other thick soup or liquid, you have to add clear liquid, so broth or water. And also, the other thing you have to do is you have to scrape up and deglaze the surface of the pot. The way to do that is to saute. You get all those little brown bits, and then you add clear liquid. And you let it simmer, and you scrape the bottom until all of those little bits come up, okay? Then you add your cream of mushroom soup and all your other things. Do not stir, okay? Layer your ingredients. Hello. Roxy? Roxy?
She just went outside.
Okay, hopefully.
No, I saw her pee.
Okay. Well, that's
She's
good.
just going up to Daddy.
Okay. All right. So anyway, first thing you do is deglaze it, okay? You make sure that you scrape up all the little bits all over the surface of the pot. Even if you can't see it, you can feel when it's clean. All right. Then you add all your other ingredients. Do not stir. Then lock it, put in your amount of time, and let it go. Leave it alone, okay? And it won't say burn because you have deglazed it. You haven't given anything on the bottom to burn, okay? But make sure, clear liquid with thick sauces and thick cream of mushroom soup things, and deglaze that pot, all right? 2 very important things to do. Otherwise, you will get that burn and you won't pressure cook. It will not come up to pressure, okay? Now, also, a lot of people complain on the groups about the fact that it isn't 4 minutes like you said it is. It's not 4 minutes. It's 10 minutes for the pressure to come up. It's 10 minutes for the pressure to come down. That's not 4 minutes. That's 24 minutes. You have to plan that out. When you know what you want to make, you make sure that you understand how long it's really going to take. That 4 minutes is only the active cooking time. All right, that's the amount of time that the pot is going to take to cook it. But that's not your whole cook time. So you have to understand there's pressure time. Pressure goes up, pressure goes down. You're going to have to put that timing into your timing. So if your family wants dinner on the table at 6 o'clock, then you have to make sure that actually everything is kind of done by 1:45, give it a few minutes for a natural release, pop the top, and it's done, and then you can serve it. All right, so you have to plan that out. So when I say dinner is going to be ready in 6 minutes, really it's 26 minutes. So I set it. This is the other thing, I walk away. All right, a lot of people stand and watch it, and it makes all kinds of noises, and you think that you did something wrong. Do not hang around. All right, multitask. Go and wash some dishes, set the table, fold some laundry, watch some TV, spend 10 minutes with your kids, do some homework, whatever. Okay, inactive cooking time. Use it as such. Use it as multitasking time. That's what I do. That's how I get the dishes done before dinner. That's how I set the table. That's how I go and I do a few dishes before, dishes, or fold some laundry beforehand or whatever, okay? Then I come back and it's done, all right? If it's not done, if for some reason the pin has not gone up, then I cancel it, all right? And I start over. I look at the lid, I make sure that everything is right. And then I put it back on and I walk away again. And when I come back, the pin is either up or it's fallen and it's counting down. And I know that it's done. I can just press the thing. I see the pin has dropped. I can open it up. Okay? Don't fret. It's one thing that a lot of people do, a lot of newbies do. They stand around and watch the machine like it's going to explode. It's not going to explode, people. Okay, it has a lot of safety measures put into the electronics of this machine, into the computerization, right? It will not explode. I've had it for a year and a half already. Have I had beans on the ceiling? No, I haven't. My mother used to have beans on the ceiling from doing it on the stovetop without safety features. It would explode. It did explode. Many times as a kid. That's why I was fearful of even getting one of these. My husband kept saying, oh, it's going to explode. I said, no, I heard it doesn't explode. It took me a little while to learn how to use the machine. That's another tip, okay? Learn how to use it. Don't expect that it's going to do everything that you think it's going to do, and it's going to do it in 3 minutes. All right? Learn how to make the things that you know how to make in your other things, but learn how to convert them to this machine and the way it cooks. Okay? All right. 2 other things very quickly. Okay. Okay. Also, if you're going to be doing cheesecake, lasagna, cornbread, anything in a cake pan, a bun pan, a push pan, a springform pan, any of those things, they tell you either to make a tinfoil sling for your pot, okay? And tinfoil is great. It's all and well. But if for some reason you have a hatred of tinfoil, there is one solution, all right? And it's something called a graffiti band that I bought through Amazon, okay? And what you do is you wrap it around your item, all right? And you kind of spread out the strings here. And that way you can pick it up and put it in on top of the trivet. And that way also, I use it also for rotisserie chicken. I wrap it around the legs and the wings, and that way I can put it in. And if a recipe calls for turning it over, I can carefully, with a anything under it, get it up, and then I carefully take it and turn it over. Okay, but these are very useful, and they're cheap. It's like 5 or 10 of them for a bag, and they're very useful. Also, supposedly you can use them for things like carrying school books and things like that, of which I don't have that issue, that use, but I use it for cheesecake. I also use it in the air fryer for the same things, for cake, for making meat in a cake pan or something like that, to get things in and out very easily. Also, make sure that you buy separate sealing rings if you're going to be doing sweet items. Okay, this one is for my sweet. I have this one in the pot. I have the one in the pot, that's for savory. Okay, this is for savory. Okay, and this is for sweet. And that way, when I make cheesecake, I don't have the fear that it's going to smell like last night's chicken. Okay, some people have a sensitivity to that and think that that it tastes like it or it smells like it. They're fearful that they're going to serve their cheesecake and it's going to smell like chicken or last night's beef stew or whatever. Switch out your rings. You won't have that issue. Also, when it comes to the smell, the best way to get the smell out is to actually steam lemons for 3 or 4 minutes in the Instant Pot with just some water and some lemons. Just set it for steam for 4 minutes and then pop the top, turn it off, and just let it sit there until it cools off. And it won't smell. The lid won't smell and the ring won't smell. There's also one other tip for that. If you don't want to do that, you can put the rings right into the top rack of the dishwasher when you wash your dishes, and it will come out and won't smell. Okay, if those things bother you. They don't really bother me, and I haven't really sensed any transfer of flavors or smells, so it doesn't bother me. Okay, and I guess that's it. Those are my... Oh, one last thing, and this is so important, okay? I've seen this also on the Instant Pot community, on Instant Pot cooks, on all the different Instant Pot groups. Do not, and this is very important, do not store your Instant Pot on the stovetop. Even if you have a griddle like I do on top, other people come in the house, they want to cook, they will turn on that burner not realizing that's there, and they will burn your pot. For the between $70 and $140 or $150 that this thing is, you do not want to burn the bottom of it, okay? They will not replace it for you for free, okay? They will make you pay, okay? Make sure, do not store it on the stovetop, okay? Very, very important, okay? Really, really important. Oh, and one other thing before I forget, okay? The steam that is emitted from this before it comes to pressure, and also when you are releasing the pressure, quick release, make sure that you move the Instant Pot out from under a cabinet if that's where you are cooking. If you're cooking it under a cabinet, move it out into the front of your counter before you release the pressure, because the steam can ruin the surface of your counter, your cabinets, from what I've been told. My cabinets are really old. I don't really care about the surface too much of them, and they seem to be okay after a year and a half or so. But some people have new houses, new kitchens. They don't want to ruin their cabinets, okay? So that is my last tip. Do not let the steam be, do not let the steam go up into your wood. It will ruin it, okay? And I hope that a lot of these tips were helpful to you. Just make sure to stop being nervous. Take it out of the box and start cooking, people. Do your water test and then try something really simple. A simple roasted chicken, a simple baked potato, hard-boiled eggs, something very simple. Do not try to do your favorite thing from the slow cooker first thing. Do not try pasta first thing. Pasta takes a little bit of learning to do it right, especially spaghetti, which will overcook in about a second flat. Do something very simple for your first meal, for your first dish, for your first try. And practice, practice, practice. Practice doesn't necessarily make perfect, but it makes much better, okay? And it'll make you less nervous. So open up that box and start cooking. And thanks for coming into my kitchen. Bye. And we can do the rest of it on the card. Boom, boom.